It took 3 people to cast this movie, and it looks like someone didn't pay their CSA dues. Weird that the adventures of these 2 children in the opening credits is way more interesting than the one the kids experience in the actual movie. Since when does someone stick a whole pencil, eraser and all, into the sharpener? Nothing like a kids movie whose concept was from the imagination of 2 of the guys behind the Reanimator movies. And the other guy wrote Dolls and Chud too, Bud the Chud. I heard there was originally a scene in the screenplay where Matt Frewer's decapitated head was attempting to give literal head to Christine Sutherland. 1989 texting. Also, I'm pretty sure that only about 75% of what he typed here translated correctly to the piece of paper. As messed up as this is, his typing was way more messed up.
That's my fishing rod!
Ah, the 80s, where neighborhoods were filled with the wackiest human beings you have never met in your entire life. Cat helm scream.
Stay back, boy. This thing works. This will put us right up there with the invention of electricity.
If the dog needs to stay back, shouldn't Wayne be wearing the mask that he felt the need to wear while working on the dangerous shrinking machine? The director said, let's have you test your shrink ray on an apple. It'll make you look like even more of an asshole.
On the other hand, we've come up with an interesting way of making applesauce.
Looking on the bright side. Also, this joke contains no rim shot. Also, there's no lemon or brown sugar, so that would be some bland-ass applesauce.
You're wiping away brain cells, and there aren't many to spare.
You could say that wiping away his brain cells gives him max headroom. In all these movie crazy inventor homes, there are always the most pointless machines. Who would need something to help them answer a phone?
Could I do it later? Okay, don't be too late.
Not sure why that matters. The lawn clearly didn't need to be mowed. Leaving frozen food out in the sun while you make a camping checklist.
Baseball's for mortals. Maybe you could be the base.
Because this movie doesn't have enough going on with the issues of parental neglect, parents forcing unrealistic and selfish goals on their children, and all the shrinking kids, let's go ahead and throw in a pointless 80s bully trope for good measure. Mop dancing is probably in itself a sin, but what's even more egregious is that she's performing her dance moves back over the areas she just mopped. And she hasn't even done the dishes or cleaned the counters off yet, which is just going to create the need to mop again.
What am I doing wrong, Spike?
Giving your cat a dog's name for one thing. This baseball is going to be the key factor in getting Wayne's shrink ray to work, and baseball is wrong. Invention never worked before until something random like a baseball hits it and magically makes it start working cliché.
You like to dance, huh?
How do you know?
Stalker regret.
You have, however, managed to shrink one thing, the size of this audience.
Oh good, Wayne gets a bully too. The original title of this movie was Like Dorky Father, Like Dorky Son.
It will take time to convince people without proof.
Of course it will. Imagine if I said, hey, guess what guys, you can totally time travel. And then someone else says, where's the proof? And then I say, hey, guess what guys, you can totally time travel. And getting 5 more believers just from my confidence. Jesus Christ, this shrink ray sure is deadly accurate in getting the plot going, isn't it? Earlier it shrunk the other kids down and they weren't even in the path of the shrink ray. Meanwhile, this motherfucker was just shrinking couches before, but it apparently doesn't want to randomly shrink anything else, so this fucker is convenient.
We're all the size of boogers!
How fucking big are Ronald's boogers? In the shrink ray's mad search for a new target, something it hasn't done at all except to advance the plot, the baseball gets jarred loose right before Wayne gets upstairs to see it in action. I hadn't seen a machine's actions this controlled by a screenwriter since Keanu Reeves played that robot in Point Break. I guess I understand Wayne wanting to smash his invention after 5 years of fruitlessness, and because people were walking out on his lecture today, but I just don't believe a character like this would do this. The movie never explains the stakes of his invention, or any boiling frustration, so this comes off false. Since they're running back and forth to avoid the broom, we should be able to see them here as he sweeps up the screws, but we do not. I'm no effects of being small while being thrown into a trash can expert, but I'm gonna go ahead and say they survived this.
Whose arm is this?
I don't know, but I'm not waiting around to find out.
How did they find a magical cutting utensil in this dark-ass trash bag? How did they all manage to slice a hole in the bag while yelling about whose arm is this and This makeshift knife and their teamwork in cutting a hole in this bag is a total lie. That's a childbirth metaphor in a kid's movie right there.
Something tells me we're not going fishing this weekend.
That should make you happy.
Blow it out your shorts, Ron.
Blow it out your shorts.
Tell me the truth. Can your dad help us?
What other f***ing choice do they have?
I don't think we're in Kansas anymore, Toto.
Quoting the Wizard of Oz in vain.
I don't think we're in the food chain anymore, Dorothy.
What the f*** is that supposed to mean? You're still in the food chain, just extremely low on it. Someone might want to check on that dog. It hasn't moved an inch with the noise of her car pulling up and the neighbor walking by.
You want to hear something strange? My thinking couch is missing.
And yeah, it's weird that there's a big f***ing hole in my window too. And the kids are missing. But all I can think about is destroying my shrinking machine. Oh well.
This is a lot better than those nature hikes Dad drags.
Russ screams at something off screen. This could have been a funny, scary scene with a little bit of imagination. But both the scary and the funny are immediately drowned out by the other kid's mundane reaction to what is a dinosaur toy. Also, Joe Johnston directed this and Jurassic Park 3. And despite what I just said, this toy dinosaur scene is still 100% better than that movie.
It's already 1 o'clock. So much for the mall.
I know you want to meet this boy at the mall and everything, but why is that so important to you right now? Haven't you ever heard of Maslow's hierarchy of needs?
You know how to whistle? You just put your lips together and blow.
Quoting To Have and Have Not in vain.
Yes, Mother.
Honey, I Shrunk the special effects budget. Also, it's almost as if these flowers were produced in case there were people that got miniaturized and needed to climb them. Have the Thompsons still not packed those frozen dinners Big Russ was inventorying earlier? Those must be tater mush at this point.
The Zelensky kids are missing too.
They're smart, they ran away with the circus.
The nonchalant parents in this movie make the ones in Home Alone look responsible. And why would running away with the circus be a smart move, even if you're a dumbass like Big Russ is? Little Russ one-arms Nick up to the bee's back. And I'm just wondering, this is the kid who couldn't make it on the football team? Nick's gotta weigh around 80 pounds, right? Even if he weighs on the low end, this is impressive arm strength.
I'm getting worried.
Just now?
Hey, Zelensky, your lawn's beginning to look like the Amazon.
Really? Because when Diane was outside just a second ago, it looked freshly cut. Or, and I'm just spitballing here, you could just walk into the house calmly and not even worry about this bee. Why is this guy's solution to everything blunt force trauma? And who uses a bat on a bee? By the way, how have these kids held on for so long? Bees fly anywhere from 15 to 20 miles per hour, and these kids are small as
There was a bee on me.
Yeah, right.
Why is this even an argument? What would Wayne have to gain from lying about this? What the hell is this scene, and why was it filmed? Now I'm more curious about what Diane thought he was actually doing.
Wait a second. Nick doesn't play baseball?
If you were my brother, I'd put myself up for adoption.
Yeah, hope your face ends up on a milk carton.
Nothing like joking around about your neighbors getting kidnapped and or killed. Now the yard looks like it's needed mowing for a couple of weeks. I'm not sure why the constant changing of the grass length is bugging me, but it f***ing is. This woman went to the grocery store and bought fruit like an animal. Were there no special bags at the store to put these things in before you checked out? Does Wayne not realize the crutches could have crushed the kids as easily as his shoes? The chances that these kids found each other after all the bull we've seen is something like 17 million to 1. I don't have any real figures in front of me, but the chances have got to be lottery size. This seems as good a time as any to throw into This Works. Oh, so the guy who's terrible at football is awesome at CPR? No, you're a false equivalence.
If you're not there by 6, you'll lose your deposit.
Cutting it close, aren't they? Big Russ said that morning that they had a 4-hour drive, and that the Forresters weren't coming till after lunch. So that's 12 or 1, if not later. Putting them there right around losing deposit o'clock.
May hasn't been feeling too well.
Why does Big Russ make up this lie about May when his kids are missing? Is he worried about the embarrassment of losing his kids more than actually losing them? My guess is that normally this scene with Don and his wife would have been cut, but this movie is 90 minutes, so they needed filler. They're absolutely pointless to the story, and Russ's lie makes no difference to the plot, so what was this shit for?
Where'd you learn artificial respiration?
French class, kid.
That doesn't even make sense. If he's making a sly joke about French kissing, then that would involve tongue. And shoving your tongue down someone's throat who can't breathe would be a terrible idea. Even in this contraption, Wayne should still be moving quicker than them. So even though they just walked away, he should be right on top of them, no?
Ron, if you had a corn dog, it would be the size of a truck.
Actually, a truck would be the size of a house, and a house would be the size of a small town, and the Cubs would still need a better bullpen in 2019. Also, wow, characters talk about food. Food magically appears. I wonder if this works for all of our wants and needs. Anna Kendrick, Anna Kendrick, Anna Kendrick.
I got dibs on the cream filling!
As gross as this is, the more confusing thing is that this cookie that must have been in the yard for hours at this point doesn't have bugs all over it, and not, as we'll see in a second, just one single ant. Hank Pym, the early years. A combination of using food for bait and whistling successfully lures the ant away. When there is a giant goddamn cookie, the ant could have had all to itself if it just stopped trying to kill the kids.
Sister's not bad. For a girl.
That's racist.
We are camping, Ron, only better. It's like a safari.
I'm not sure how this scenario is better than anything, but these kids sure are taking this whole could be this size the rest of our lives thing pretty well. 80s.
Are you trying to tell me you did it?
The machine works? Do the kids know?
Completely and utterly incredible! Their kids are missing, and she's excited about the shrinking machine? And wouldn't this revelation lead naturally to what happened? Does one human have any logical human emotion in this movie?
That's not that great.
Why?
I shrunk the kids.
Roll 4/5 of the credits.
Oh, there must be some mistake. Ours are in the backyard.
There are 2 missing kids, plus 2 reported missing kids next door, and the father is acting suspicious, and the wife just fainted. Our work is done for the day. Man, Russ is terrible at sneaking a Lucy. At least close the f***ing door. Does he think a screen will stop smoke from getting in the house? Why did Diane think that that was the best thing to do right now? They could have crushed the kids, and they could have changed the name of this movie pretty quickly.
Are you saying that machine blew
up my kids?
Roll credit. Oh wait, jump the gun. I mean, who gives a f*** about that Don guy? Why did they put him in this movie? F***ing Don. You know, aside from the bee and ant moments, these kids only needed to walk the equivalent of 3.2 miles. which you should be able to do within an hour or so. But this is taking them the whole day. Even with bees and ants, this shouldn't take as long as it has.
We've just got to get this family back together.
Well, getting off your ass and back out in the yard looking for them might be a good start.
I just always thought you were too popular to notice me.
She was. Filthy people kissing.
Get killed. We gotta do something.
Do you, though? Do you? Are ants usually anywhere near the size of scorpions? I'm gonna say no and quickly publish this video without looking it up, but I feel like most scorpions are giant compared to ants. Man, this Godzilla King of the Monsters movie is the absolute worst. Yeah, when your pet ant dies, boundaries, right? Oh, that's so cute. I should just let him sleep. It's not like our kids are half an inch tall and possibly in mortal danger or already dead. This dumbass kid doesn't even bother to see if Nick is home, or if anybody's home. He just goes straight to the lawnmower remote like a dicky dumbass dickface. Instead of just tapping Tommy on the shoulder, Wayne and Diane go for the old try and shout loud enough so Tommy can hear through his headphones and with a lawnmower running method. And I know they might be worried they'll step on the kids if they go out on the lawn, but there's no way he hears them through all this noise. So you gotta take your chances. Everyone survives this, so let's add 25 sins for all the times they should be dead. Our kids might have just been sliced up by a lawnmower. Time for some Cheerios.
Don't eat me!
Ah! I thought for a minute this movie was going to go super dark, or at least keep Nick alive, so that we could go through the inner space portion of the movie. Magnifying glass humor.
Flapping.
Pitching.
Charades.
No! Do it on me.
Or you could try it on more fruit first, just to make sure it's not still blowing up. Matt Fewer. Yep, Big Russ certainly looks like he's in that attic, all right. That looks real as hell. Looking past the fact that he was able to figure out how to reverse the effects so quickly, is embiggening these kids all at once a great idea? It could be like live-action Rock'em Sock'em robots when they start growing.
If you really want me back on the team.
I don't care about the team, I care about you.
Man, it's amazing what the end of a movie finally does to a character after a full 80 minutes of being the most unaware and uncaring parent since the ones in Cruel Intentions. So, why isn't Wayne famous and living in a mansion yet? Why isn't his shrinking machine all over the news? And I guarantee there are starving children everywhere as they eat this turkey, right? But sure, keep the invention to yourself. These kids are still together? No high school romance would have lasted this long, even with what they just went through. She'd still be enamored with that Paul guy. I just like thinking the worst in people is all.
I get it. French class.
Yeah, it was a really funny joke. Still doesn't explain how Little Russ knew CPR and
What is this?
A center for ants!
You know how to whistle. You just put your lips together and blow.
Wait, no, wait. I think it. Wait, isn't it like it's like. Ah!
I'm surrounded by assholes.
You, Mr. Zelensky, are hardly Einstein.
Jack Kennedy was a friend of mine. Senator, you're no Jack Kennedy.
I'm going to lunch.
Will you go to lunch?
And it just threw up in my mouth a little bit.